Hello, gentle listener. 'Tis the season to be creepy. Fa-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. That most wonderful time of year crouches ready to pounce and rend us once again. Transmissmas. As a special treat this year, we'll be sharing 2 Transmissmas tales with you. Something delightfully traditional on Transmissmas Eve, and a more modern, early Transmissmas gift, which we intend to bestow upon you, well, now. So, Nocturnal Transmissions is proud to present an early Christmas gift by Andreas Flögel. The scent of fresh pine and melting wax hung heavy in the air of the living room this Christmas Eve. The tree glittered, and its light cast long, stretching shadows. Ray was halfway up a slightly wobbly ladder, his face set in determined concentration as he attempted to crown the tree with its star. His daughter, Biggie, 17, all athletic grace and sharp intuition, watched him with restless energy. Ray knew that she could have cleared the distance to the treetop with ease, a simple leap and stretch, but he cherished his role, fumbling determinedly to place the star. Biting back a smile, Biggie's gaze followed every move of her father, holding the ladder as steady as possible. Ray fumbled slightly with the star. Just got it! Suddenly the doorbell rang. Not a festive chime, but an abrupt, insistent buzz that echoed unnervingly in the quiet house. Bzzzt! Before Ray could even steady himself or ask who on earth would be calling on Christmas Eve, Biggie was already in motion. It seemed like her body reacted before her conscious mind did. It was an instinctive spring, a flash of blonde hair and effortless movement. She didn't bother with pathways. She simply flowed over the furniture, clearing the sofa with a single powerful surge, arriving at the door in but a second, her hand already reaching for the handle before she stopped herself. She paused, her breath catching slightly, her senses sharp. "Who's there?" she asked, her voice low and tight, ready for anything but a caroller. The answer came back, clear and chilling in its sheer incongruity on this night.
A package delivery. Express package."
Biggie hesitated for only a fraction of a second, then pulled the heavy door inward, just enough to see who was there. But she saw nothing in the dark air outside. Then, from behind her in the heart of the festive living room came a sound that froze her blood, a sickening crash, heavier than just the ladder, followed by her father's choked gasp. She didn't think, just reacted. Leaving the door open, she sprinted back into the living room. The tree lights still twinkled, but the scene below was chaos. The ladder lay twisted on the floor, tangled in scattered ornaments and pine needles. Ray was underneath it, struggling feebly. "Dad!" she cried, sliding to a halt beside him. She dropped to her knees, reaching out a hand. "Are you okay?" Biggie didn't hear them enter, but she felt the shift in the air, the sudden, cold presence in the room. 3 figures materialized out of the open doorway, dark and silent against the gentle glow of the Christmas lights. Their faces were obscured by masks made of a dark, opaque material that gave them a terrifyingly blank appearance. Just as she managed to shift the ladder slightly, a powerful arm locked around her neck from behind, cutting off her air. Another pinned her arms to her sides. She instantly went rigid, then exploded into furious motion, twisting, kicking, bucking like a wild horse caught in a snare. Her attacker was strong, their grip like iron. As she fought, desperate to break free, she saw the other man gripping her father, pulling him upwards. He looked dazed, eyes unfocused, shaking his head slowly. "Let go!" Biggie screamed, the sound muffled by a hand over her mouth. She fought with every ounce of her athletic strength, a whirlwind of desperate resistance. She finally managed to free one of her arms. She turned and lashed out, her hand curled into a claw, hitting away the mask of her captor and leaving a long streak on his cheek that immediately began to well with blood. "Biggie, no." Ray's voice was weak, slurred, barely audible over her struggles. "Please, stop." Biggie's body sagged, the fight draining out of her with a visible effort. She didn't completely relax, her muscles still coiled, but the wild flailing stopped. Her gaze fixed on Ray, a complete mix of fear for him, frustration at his command, and a flicker of defiant resentment simmering in her eyes. How could he tell her to stop? The intruder who'd grabbed her released his crushing grip slightly, bringing a hand up to his bleeding cheek. He winced, a low hiss escaping his lips, before pulling his mask back down, covering the fresh injury. His voice, though muffled, vibrated with cold fury. "The damn bitch scratched me. I'm gonna make her pay for that." Now, with the immediate struggle ceased, Ray had a moment to truly look at the men who'd invaded their home on Christmas Eve. Two of them were clearly the muscle, thick-set, powerfully built adults, likely in their early 30s. The one who'd been holding Biggie was slightly shorter than the other, who stood silently behind him, an unnerving presence. The third was noticeably younger, smaller, leaner, hovering back near the doorway. He couldn't be 20 yet, Ray thought, his posture unsure, out of place. Trying to project a calm he didn't feel, Ray addressed the two older men. "We don't keep much cash here. Not much spare." He reached slowly into his back pocket, pulling out his wallet. "Here, take my wallet. There's a bit more in the desk drawer over there, too." The taller, silent man took the wallet, his movements economical and cold. He quickly extracted the bills. Meanwhile, the injured man stalked over to the desk, yanking open the drawer and rifling through it roughly. "That it? Really? No coins, no jewelry?" he snarled, slamming the drawer shut with a frustrated bang. Ray shook his head. Everything we have goes into keeping this whole place standing. It's a money pit. There's not a lot left over for anything else." The injured man let out a bitter laugh that was devoid of humor. "Oh, shit. This wasn't worth it." He glared at the taller one. "Anyone with a house like this has money. Thanks for nothing. And for this I get my face torn open by a little wildcat." The taller man finally spoke, his voice low and utterly chilling. "Looks like the girl is the best thing we've found. She'll compensate us." Biggie's head snapped towards her father, a silent, terrified question in her eyes. Ray's shoulders slumped. He could only offer a desperate, helpless shrug, his face etched with despair, a silent acknowledgement that there was nothing they could do. The injured man grinned cruelly behind his mask, directing his words at Biggie. "See, little one, your father agrees. Time to accept your fate." He then barked at the younger one. "Junior, keep the old man company. Make sure he doesn't try any hero stuff." Junior flinched, his voice tight with anxiety.
"But we just wanted to grab what we could. Nobody's supposed to get hurt."
The taller man chuckled, a soft, dry sound. "Nobody'll get hurt. Not if she's smart. And I'm sure our little wildcat will be grateful in the end." He nodded to the injured man, and together the two older intruders grabbed Biggie firmly, steering her towards the adjacent bedroom. Left alone with the youngest intruder, Ray turned towards him, keeping his voice low and urgent. "Listen, Junior, I'm giving you some solid advice here. Get out. Get out now, while you still have the chance." The boy hesitated, shifting his weight nervously, his eyes darting between Ray and the door Biggie had been taken through. He seemed genuinely uncertain, lost.
This isn't how it was supposed to go down,"
he mumbled, but then straightened slightly, trying to sound tougher.
"Anyway, you're clearly not the one calling the shots here."
Just then, sounds began to filter from the adjacent bedroom. A muffled clatter followed by a heavy thump, a choked, suppressed cry, then another, and finally a short, sharp scream that cut through the air like ice. Junior flinched, his eyes widening with alarm. "Hear that?" Ray's voice was quiet but intense. "Take a look. Just a careful peek into that room. It'll help you make the right decision." Swallowing hard, Junior glanced back at Ray, then took hesitant steps towards the bedroom door. He paused, took a breath, and slowly pushed the door open a narrow crack. Peering inside. From the gap, more sounds emerged, a sickening cracking, a wet crunching, followed by a slow, awful, squelching sound. When Junior pulled his head back and turned around, his face was chalk white, his eyes wide and vacant, as if he'd seen something that had broken his understanding of the world. Without a single word, he stumbled like a sleepwalker towards the front door, yanked it open, and bolted out into the warm Christmas night. Moments later, Biggie pushed open the bedroom door and paused in the doorway. Her clothing was smeared with red splatters, and the entire lower half of her face was stained with blood. She casually wiped her sleeve across her mouth, then ran her tongue over her lips.
"Delicious. That felt like an early Christmas gift."
She scanned the room.
"Did you release the kid?"
Ray gave a slight nod. "You know how I feel about messes in the living room. That's why I intervened earlier." Then he shrugged. "Also, it's Christmas. Our freezer, it's already packed full for the holidays." An Early Christmas Gift by Andreas Flögel. Andreas is an author from Germany who loves writing stories in English and German to entertain, excite, thrill, or scare his readers. Recent credits include stories in Dark Moments, Flashpoint Science Fiction, Trembling with Fear, Stygian Leapers, Sci-Fi Journal, and various anthologies. For more information, please visit his website, www.dr-dings.de. This early Transmissmas transmission was made possible in no small part thanks to the support of our beloved Patreon subscribers. An extra big thank you goes out to those particular subscribers who have donned the mantle. Cohort. Thank you, esteemed cohort Tim Howard, Wayne Prince, Bull Swivney, Kel Wielden, Alex Brewers, Jerry Taylor, Jimmy Mack, Doug Standish, Fangora Brown, Tippy Polo, Heathen Soul, Crunchy Kirby, Rebecca Gates, Evan Dooley, Amanda Moore, Robert Troy Hampton Peterson, Daniel Kamiankowski, Drenny, Adam, Johnny Kelly, and Rachel Brown. All non-public domain stories are featured with the permission of the authors. All voices and production are concocted by Kristin Holland. Until next time, as always, watch the skies, fear the dark, and don't trust anyone, especially yourself. See you again, Transmissmas. E.